Hello everybody, in this video I'm looking at why I've decided to stop using Google Classroom for posting material and resources. So as a long-time Google user, I had been using the old version of Google Sites prior to Classroom coming out. When Classroom came out, then I switched all my material and resources onto Classroom along with the assignments for students. What I found, however, over the next couple of years was that students really struggled around self-directed learning and revision, around finding material in those Google Classrooms because they had rows and rows and rows of what looked identical in terms of links, and they struggled to find the material they were looking for. So Google introduced the ability to break the material into topics, which helped, but still I felt that it was difficult to navigate. Now, it took a presentation from a colleague of mine in the Google Educator group, Joe Short, to show me that the answer was right in front of us the whole time, and that was to go back to using Google Sites for hosting the material and resources. So Joe had demonstrated his school a very advanced set up around Google Sites and sharing for the resources for the individual subject areas. So I've decided to switch back to that model, and feedback from students has been that it's very successful. So why do it this way? Well, Google Sites give you the opportunity to lay out your materials in a much more student-friendly way, much more easy to navigate. And in terms of being able to revise, it's much easier to find the files. From a teacher's point of view, instead of curating multiple files and trying to post them into individual classroom posts or to reuse posts from previous years, you're only dealing with one subject website that you can put links to. And even for coursework, you can add links for coursework for different years and give your advice and deadlines, etc., on there as well. Also, as a school, you can create a directory of these resources that can be accessible to parents. You can use them for students who are considering their subject options. They can get a real flavor of what the material is to be covered. Those students who want to work ahead as well, they can access the full gamut of resources that are there. So there's a lot of advantages there to posting your materials. You can also then, of course, still have Classroom as a really big part of the package because you're going to be posting your assignments and your grading is done on classwork. What the effect it has in Classroom, the effect it has in Classroom then is Classroom is much less cluttered. The focus of Classroom is around the assignments. Much easier to find those now that all the content has been extracted out. And when you are posting the assignments, of course, you can post in a link to the Google site where you have all your material organized in a much more user-friendly fashion, and you can update it and you can make sub-menus or you can make sub-sites and all those other options that are there as well. Um, Once again, then sharing to a wider audience like parents, very useful for them to be part of the process and get a flavor. You'd always have parents asking, what can we be doing with our students? What can we be doing to help them? And then if they log on to a course like this and they can see the full layout of the course and the marks, etc., it's very insightful for them as well. So that is my explanation of why I've stopped posting material to Classroom. It's not that I haven't stopped using Classroom. Classroom is still a vital tool, but it's a much better tool now that its focus is around the assignments and assessments, and I can lay out my materials in a much more coherent fashion. I hope this helps.